Coming up on Cronkite News tonight, the Delta variant now accounts for the overwhelming majority of COVID cases in the U.S. We'll explain where Arizona stands when it comes to the infection.
Also, businesses are reaching out to Senator Kyrsten Sinema to support legislation to protect voters' rights.
And later on Break It Down, the lack of diversity in the state's court system.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Erin Slindy.
And I'm Gianluca D'Elia. Thank you for joining us. This morning, the Arizona Department of Health Services reported more than 1,100 new COVID-19 cases. That brings the state's total to more than 910,000 cases. The state has administered 6.7 million vaccine doses, but according to the AZDHS dashboard, since April, the rate of vaccinations is trending downward. Since the beginning of July, the rate of cases is heading in the opposite direction, with an increase in new cases. More than 1,000 a day for the last week. Dr. Rochelle Walensky from the CDC says the Delta variant is the overwhelmingly predominant strain in the country.
The Delta variant now represents 83% of sequenced cases. This is a dramatic increase up from 50% the week of July 3rd. In some parts of the country, the percentage is even higher, particularly in areas of low vaccination rates.
Hospitalization rates across the states have dropped for those who are vaccinated. Unvaccinated people account for nearly all hospitalizations in the state and nationwide. President Biden says those who are unvaccinated are not protected. He also criticized misinformation that appeared on social media and called on social media sites to be harsher on combating vaccine lies.
Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to reverse two decisions in Arizona death penalty cases. In 1995, Barry Jones was convicted of murder, child abuse, and sexual abuse and sentenced to death. However, the conviction was reversed on appeal in 2019. In a separate case, David Ramirez was convicted in 1989 on 2 counts of murder and also sentenced to death. In a later appeal, the death penalty was removed. On July 16th, Attorney General Brnovich filed a brief with the U.S. Supreme Court for both cases. The Attorney General's office did not agree to an interview, but released this statement. Convicted killers use the court system to delay their sentences for decades. While the victims' families continue to suffer, I will continue to vigorously fight for justice for the victims, their families, and our communities. In his brief, the Attorney General asked to reinstate the murder conviction and in Barry Jones' case and preserve the death sentence in the David Ramirez case. More than 300 local small businesses have called on Senator Kyrsten Sinema to pass the For the People Act, which expands voting rights and reforms campaign finance laws. Small business owners gathered at Changing Hands bookstore in Phoenix to make their voices heard. These small businesses say they didn't receive the support they needed during the pandemic, and they believe better representation would have helped.
You know, small businesses' voices were not heard enough during the pandemic, and that's why we've seen so many of them go out of business. So many of them did not get access to PPP loans because they didn't have the same access to politicians that a lot of these giant companies do, and that's why we need better representation in our government.
The For the People's Act passed the House, but the Senate needed 60 votes in order to move it forward. The small business owners also spoke against Sinema's stand to support the filibuster.
The city of Gilbert changed their recycling guidance due to a lack of demand in materials. They've reduced the amount of materials they'll be accepting from now on. Gilbert will now only take some metals, some cardboard, paper, and plastics. The changes also mean the city will not take any glass and some plastics like grocery bags. They ask residents not to put anything in the blue recycling bins that isn't on the lists. Anything that doesn't fill the requirements will be sent to a landfill. The city of Gilbert say they hope to get full participation by September.
Coming up next on Cronkite News, the safety issues at the Grand Canyon, how a lack of planning can lead to dangerous situations at the Natural Wonder.
And as the number of COVID cases increase among Olympic athletes, canceling the games is still on the table. Don't go away.
When you support Arizona PBS, you plant a seed. Seeds that provide educational outreach in our community. Seeds that put our digital resources to work. Seeds that foster the trusted news coverage you expect from PBS. And seeds that continue the amazing PBS programs you love. But our garden can't keep growing without your support. Visit our website to see all the ways you can help our garden grow. Plant a seed with Arizona PBS today.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Today, there's an excessive heat warning at certain parts of the Grand Canyon National Park, where temperatures are reaching 109 degrees. Heat-related illnesses and other emergencies are common at the park. In 2020 alone, there were 693 medical emergency service incidents. Cronkite News reporter Tina Giuliano spoke with park officials who are urging visitors to plan ahead.
At 7,000 feet of elevation, the Grand Canyon looks calm and peaceful.
In the hotel.
But without a plan,
Yeah, you want to go back?
the landscape can be deadly.
We have seen a lot of heat-related illnesses. It is something in especially June, July, and August we see a lot of anyway.
We ran into hikers that knew when to turn around.
We brought a couple bottles of water, but we didn't know how far we were going to go, so we decided to turn around so that we didn't run out of water.
Joelle Baird has seen this before as a ranger in Grand Canyon for the last 9 years, a majority of them working as an EMT.
I do remember my first season as a volunteer working in that capacity being very overwhelmed with the number of people hiking into the Grand Canyon and also how many of them were experiencing heat-related illness.
As hikers descend into the canyon, the temperatures get about 20 degrees hotter. Just last week, a man collapsed and died on Bright Angel Trail.
Heat-related injuries can be deadly, and we've had some visitors die even this year as a result of heat-related injuries.
But heat isn't the only weather-related issue. Over the weekend, one person died, 2 went missing, and several others were injured after a flash flood in the canyon. Keeble recalls a rescue that involved a hiker that was off trail and dehydrated.
The path got narrower and narrower, and eventually we had to take a helicopter to airlift her out of where she had walked herself into.
But whether it's hiking, biking, or enjoying the view, Grand Canyon officials like Baird and Keeble advocate for visitors to prepare.
Plan like a ranger. Come here, look at our website, find out what you need to do to be prepared, especially if you're going to hike into the canyon.
And hikers have their own safety tips.
If you're wearing AirPods or earbuds, you need to still be cautious about what's around you.
Because you don't want this view to come at a cost. At the Grand Canyon, Tina Giuliano, Cronkite News.
Down here in the valley, it's been sunnier, but the humidity has stayed with us. Let's go to Isabella Fredrickson to see what we can expect in the forecast.
To begin, taking a look at our futurecast for the state of Arizona, we are going to be seeing a lot of storm and rain activity across the state. It is monsoon season, so that is expected. Moving on to the high temperatures for tomorrow, Phoenix is going to be at 106 degrees, and guys, it's hot. Over in both Lake Havasu City and in Bullhead City, we are looking at 111 degrees. Taking a look at the east side of the state, it is going to be much cooler. Payson's only going to be 82 degrees, and our coolest up in Flagstaff is only going to be 77 degrees. Moving on to our evening planner, we will drop below the triple digits by 7 p.m., and we're going to be seeing clouds the whole rest of the evening. This may make for some nice sunsets. And finally, taking a look at our 8-day forecast, while Wednesday and Thursday are going to be above 100 degrees and only a slight chance of clouds, by Friday we are looking at some extreme weather, you guys. It's only going to be 88 degrees, and that is something we have not seen in a very long time. Besides that, it is going to be a 40% chance of storm activity. This is going to continue all throughout the weekend. As you can see, Saturday remains 88 degrees with a 40% chance of storm activity. The stormy weather is not going to subside until close to Wednesday. As you can see, the next couple of days are going to be very stormy, so pay attention to the weather. Isabella Fredrickson in the Weather Center.
This morning, the CEO of the Tokyo Olympic Organizing Committee said they've not ruled out canceling the games at the last minute. He said this as more and more athletes have tested positive leading up to the games in Tokyo. The games are officially set to open on Friday after the opening ceremonies. That leaves 3 days to cancel the games. Yesterday, officials announced the number of COVID-19 cases linked to the 2020 Olympic Games has risen to 61. It's raising fears the games, which start on Friday, could turn into a global super spreader event. A second member of the women's artistic gymnastics team tested positive on Sunday. Officials have yet to identify that athlete. They say she's not showing any symptoms and is currently quarantining in her room. Another gymnast has been identified as a close contact to her.
I'm Emily Carmen. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. We'll show you the journey one Phoenix Suns guard took to get to this moment in his career.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go, lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
Ready to watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere, on nearly any device? It's easy with the free PBS Video app. Simply download the PBS Video app on your mobile or streaming device. Now you can watch the latest PBS episodes or catch up on the shows you missed, discover new favorites from PBS, and local content from your PBS station.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Emily Carmen, and this is your Cronkite Sports Report. Suns fans have grown accustomed to seeing the stars of the team, like Devin Booker and Chris Paul, shine. But many players that you don't see as much have worked hard to help get the Suns to where they are today. Cronkite Sports reporter Aaron Slindy took a deep dive into the career of Suns point guard JEVON Carter, aka the Bulldog, and his path to the NBA.
JEVON Carter was once a Mountaineer.
Carter's fadeaway, got it over the freshman Hunter.
Now he is fighting to win his first NBA championship with the Suns.
He had to prove himself. He had to get better. He had to show people that he could play at this level.
Carter wasn't a highly recruited player. Many people thought he was too undersized to play on the big stage. They thought he was good, but not good enough to make it.
He focused on his defense. So he would focus on things that he knew he was good at.
I look for my mistakes, see what I could fix. That's always something I'm doing wrong, and I'm just trying to figure out how can I fix it and not make the same mistake twice.
Carter spent every moment he had while he was at WVU improving his game. He was getting extra shots even when no one was looking.
A lot of players, just expect things to come to them because they are talented, and they don't realize that no matter how talented you are, you need to work at everything you do.
Carter proved his doubters wrong, both on and off the court. Carter was the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year and an academic All-American. Now he could soon be an NBA champion, with Mountaineer Nation standing behind him.
Here at West Virginia, we're really proud of him, happy for him, and we hope the Suns come back with that championship.
In Phoenix, Aaron Slindy, Cronkite News.
The Suns face elimination tonight as they take on the Bucks in Milwaukee for Game 6 of the NBA Finals. That game starts at 6. The Diamondbacks won their series opener against the Pittsburgh Pirates yesterday at Chase Field. Starting pitcher Caleb Smith had a solid outing, striking out 7 batters. The team was able to get on the board early thanks to back-to-back solo home runs from Pavin Smith and Josh Van Meter in the bottom of the 2nd inning. The lead would grow with a 2-run home run from Eduardo Escobar in the bottom of the 5th. The Diamondbacks closed it out with a 4-2 victory. The NHL expansion draft is set to take place tomorrow night as the league gets ready to introduce its newest team, the Seattle Kraken. As part of the expansion draft, each team is required to either identify 2 forwards, 1 defenseman, and 1 goalie that can be selected by the new team. The Coyotes announced their list of protected players who may not be selected, which includes Phil Kessel, Clayton Keller, and Connor Garland, among others. You can tune in to the expansion draft tomorrow night at 5 p.m. And that's it for your Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Aaron and Gianluca.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight.
Thank you for joining us.